Hi everyone, it's Kathy with McCrafty Studio, and it is the first weekend in May 2026, and I just returned from a cross-stitch retreat in South Dakota. It was called the Fun One Stitching Retreat. It was super fun. I met a lot of amazing, friendly, fun people, and I had a really good time. So I wanted to say hello to everyone that I met, and I wanted to thank you all for subscribing to my channel and watching my videos. So thank you for that. But I'm gonna go ahead and get started. For this previous month, I had one full finish. I am gonna insert a little bit of a brief video here. It was my small for the retreat. So I'm going to insert the video here. Hi everyone, it's Kathy with McCrafty Studio, and I am just coming on just to pop on here to show you a small finish for the retreat that I'm going to. The gift exchange I did We Are Blessed by Teresa Kogut, and I did not finish mine completely. After my next FlossTube, I will show you the completed finish, but this is the finish. And I used the drum by Chantel's 141 Design Company. And then I just painted it, distressed it, crackle finish. And I stitched it on a 32 count 36 count mica fabric with called for DMCs. And I didn't put the rusty bell on it. The kit did come with a rusty bell, but I decided not to put that on there. And I finished the bottom. I just took a round and covered it in fabric, coordinated with the blue that was on the bottom. But this is the finish that I have for the smallest retreat. And then I'm still stitching mine, but I wanted to show the drum. I still have the jute because I need to add the drumsticks, but this is mine. I did want to mention on the drum, when you put it together, the instructions indicate that you're supposed to stagger these holes where you line up the jute. But when I got the drum put together and realized that the holes were lining up one on top of the other, so I had to do a crisscross design because I was not going to take this apart to do mine. So I just kind of wanted to show you the difference on the sides. And it looks perfectly fine, so if that happens to you, don't panic. You can you know, make an alternate finish for that. So, but I did kind of want to show that completed finish. I usually, like I said, I usually have them completed, but life happened and I got a little busy, so I didn't get both completely finished, but I will have mine done. Probably not the next FlossTube, but the FlossTube after that. And then for the bag exchange, I will show this. I decided, usually I purchase the bags. I usually purchase two, but I decided to go ahead and make my own. So this is the bag that I'll be giving away, and I made a second one for myself. So I think it turned out really cool. And that's all that I have for right now. I will see you when I get back from the retreat. Again, this little video is going to pop in my original video so you guys can see the finish for the small that I did. And yeah, I'm very excited, very excited. So. And the finish that I did was We Are Blessed by Teresa Kogut. And like I have previously stated in my videos, I usually do two. I didn't quite finish mine. I needed to get the one for the retreat done, so I focused on that. And so this is my progress on mine. And I also finished the finishing piece. And this was from Design 141 Design Company, Chantel. And so I wanted to point out, I may have pointed out in the previous video, but I'm going to point out again. This drum, when you put the top on, you're supposed to alternate these tiny holes where you string the jute through. You're supposed to stagger it so you can get just the lines for the drum. However, when I put mine together, they were on top of each other, and I wanted to show that because I don't want, if anybody happens to be watching this and is trying to put their drum together, don't worry about it. Don't take it apart. This is definitely a situation where you want to always move forward and not backward. And so you can crisscross, make X's. It looks perfectly fine on this drum, so you don't, you know, if you make a mistake and realize that these threading holes are one over the top of the other, you don't have to redo that. So this is where that's at. I will also state, full disclosure on this, this was not an easy piece to it was kind of fiddly. It was, in my opinion, it was not easy to put together, and in theory it is, but when you get your pieces lined up on the bottom base and you're trying to put the top base on, it doesn't always come together. It's just a little fiddly. So I did want to mention that. I would also suggest, I know in the directions that Chantel says to paint it after you put it together. I would recommend painting it before, but that's my personal preference, just because of all the different pieces and things. But yeah, I'm trying to think what else I did that was a little bit different. So the top piece is going to go on here, so it's going to cover up these holes. These are the divots where you put these little slats in. And so I didn't like that showing on the bottom. So what I did was I took some fabric and put that on the bottom. I took just a round of cardboard, wrapped the fabric around it, decoupaged that on. So I preferred that just to give it a little bit more finished look on the bottom. It coordinated well with the blue that I used to paint with, and then also it you know, has American things, American sayings like land of the free, America 1776, that kind of thing, born in the USA, home of the brave. So it has some graphic art related to the 4th of July. So I just wanted to mention that. So I will hopefully have a full finish for the second piece in the next video. That is my goal. And trying to think, where do I start? I think I'm going to start with just, I guess, my stitching. I kind of approached this retreat a little bit differently. Usually when I go to retreats, I take projects that I have already started and have like fill in and that kind of thing. But this retreat, I decided to do a bunch of new starts. I actually have a few other new starts that I would like to start probably later today after this video goes up. But I can go over that a little bit later on plans. But some of the stitching that I did, I worked on Flowers of the Quaker for a little bit. This is by Rosewood Manor. And this is my progress. I'm using the called for Valdani threads. I think I stitched a little bit more down here, and maybe finished a motif or two over here. I can't remember. But that is that progress. I have a lot of stuff sitting on my table here. I'm kind of overwhelmed to decide which way I go. Before the retreat, I had a stitchy day with my friend Pam, and I started a few things before the retreat. So I started Sweetheart by Hello from Liz Mathews. And I put mine on a .46 count Sky Blue by Red Thicket. And then I'm using a Belsois silk in the color turquoise, I believe. I don't know why all this is all messed up. Probably because I just threw it in here. And then the Belsois silk that I'm using is turquoise. And I think it was a great color combination. I was going to use the turquoise on an antique white 46 count, but I thought that this color combination would look amazing. Excuse the thread, but it's very delicate, and I just started on that heart there in the corner. It's very pretty. Anxious to get back to that. New start I did was Rose Quaker by Stickideen von der Weinberg. I know I didn't pronounce that correctly. And I'm using just a variety of reds and greens, different silks. And I'm using a 46 count Olympus, also by Red Thicket. And I guess I should have had all of this a little bit better organized. So hopefully I'll cut some of that out. And I just started that first line in the corner on that motif. This is a beautiful fabric. The pinky, peachy, creamy, romantic color. I also worked on a Blackbird design. Was Winter is Past. The Winter is Past. And I can't remember how far I was the last time I showed this, but that top border is done, the side border, and then I started that bottom border. And this is being stitched on a 32 count Ancient by Picture This Plus, and it is called for threads, and it's being stitched 2 threads over 2. I had another new start. I'm trying to think if those were the only starts that I had when I had a stitching day with Pam. I think there might be a third one, but it'll be coming up. But I started 1776 to 2026 stocking by Teresa Kogut. This is my working copy. And I am stitching this on a 46 count Oulette. No, I didn't pronounce that correctly. But I'm making mine into a banner instead of a stocking, and I'm using just called for colors. And the fabric is by Red Thicket. And there is my progress there on the top. It's really pretty. Also, while I was at the retreat, I started, I believe it was either Quaker Hearts or Quaker Bird by Barrick. And I started this with my friend Pam. We are both switching ours out to blues. Her blues are a little bit different than mine. I basically just switched out the reds. I'm using silk on mine. And let me show you the pattern. It's gonna be really pretty. It's Quaker Hearts. Sorry, not Quaker Birds. So, this is my start. And I'm doing this on a 46 count. 46 count stone by Fiber on a Whim. Also a very lovely fabric. But that is the first line that I got started. And I'm using, like I said, a combination of silks for that particular pattern. I also finally started America 250. It was a Patriotic start by Plum Straight Samplers. And I am doing mine on a 36 count Overcast by Cedar River. And the reason I chose the 36 count was because of the over 1. And it was a very minimal start. I just started. In fact, I'm looking at my stitches. I may restart it, take them out and restart it because I'm not really liking my stitches there. It was just a few stitches for that corner flower. And I'm using the called for floss colors. I also started, this is at the retreat as well. It's called The Garden of Quilts by Holt. And I'm doing mine on a 36 count Fiber on the Whim Milk and Honey, I believe. I think this is Milk and Honey. I say that and then I feel like I'm kind of a little bit discombobulated. I just got back from Milk and Honey, so that is correct. 36 count Milk and Honey by Fiber on a Whim. And I have the first flower started. And I'm using the called for Classic Colorworks for that particular pattern. And I found my other start that I started at the retreat. It was Patriotic Jubilee by the Proper Stitcher. And I started it on an 18 count Coffee Stain by Cedar River. And I just picked my own threads. I picked Let Freedom Ring for the red, and then navy for the blue. Both are Weeks Dye Works. And then for the white, I picked Whitewash. I'm double checking. And I really love that color combination. I love the Let Freedom Ring red and then that navy blue. And I just like that combination. So I'm very excited about that particular start. And I started with this pillow down here. And this actually is my first pattern that I'm stitching from the Proper Stitcher. So I'm very excited about getting those 3 Patriotic smalls completed. I also remembered bringing my work stitch from work. And I've been working on Windmill by Mill Hill. It's their beads and button kit. And I'm doing mine on a 14 count Ada. The paper that was in the kit, the holes weren't lined correctly to make proper X's. But this is my progress. Also on one of the blues, because it is full coverage on the background there, I did run out of, and they do have the DMC colors off to the side in the pattern. So if you do ever run out of a color in the Mill Hill kit, they kit their kits with DMC floss, and they put the numbers off to the side. The Patriotic small that I mentioned in my last video was Erica Michaels, the America Berry. And I'm stitching mine on a 32 count maple bar by Cedar River. And I'm not quite done, but it is coming along rather nice. And I picked my own colors. And I will, when I get this finished, I have to order the pin set yet for that. But when I get that finished, I will go over the colors that I chose. So it looks like, I feel like I'm missing some stitching, but I feel like that's a good update as far as my stitching. I did do a lot of sewing. I finished knitting a pair of socks, which I will show in a Knitty Yarny episode that'll be specific to yarn, and some of my knitting projects that I'm doing. But I've kind of been on a project bag kick, so I made several project bags. So I'll just kind of do a few that I made. It's a fun patriotic one. And I made, this is kind of a work in progress for me, kind of a prototype, if you will. I made Pam a patriotic bag because she lends me a couple of out of print patriotic stitches, like Lady of the Flag. She is the person who lent that to me. But I did make this. It's cute, but it's still, I need to work on it a little bit. I used the project bag tutorial. It was a couple of them. The ruffle here was from Count on Linens, and then the project bag itself was by ElizabethAnnCanStitch. So I have cut a few more bags out, and I'm gonna see if I can maybe simplify or rework that ruffle, because I don't think I did a really great job on that. So I consider that a prototype. And I'm gonna probably kind of recap a couple of things. When I do my FlossTube, every year I try to do a different challenge for myself. For example, in 2024, I set a goal to start 24 new starts. 2025, my goal was to have 25 finished stitches and 25 full finishes. 2026, I stated that I was gonna do 4 months of no spend. They didn't have to be consecutive. My fabric of the month or any kind of quarterly club that I'm a part of, that wasn't counted. And yeah, so when I originally set that goal back at the end of December, first part of January, I thought it would be rather easy. I thought, oh, well, I will not spend basically January, February, March. I had my first retreat in April, so I will just pick up the market stuff in April. Well, it's not working out that way for me. I kind of feel like I don't know, I'm like confessing something, or I'm in some kind of anonymous meeting or something like that. Like, hi, my name is Kathy, and it's been 24 hours since I spent something on cross stitch. But anyway, so I keep telling everybody, I didn't spend anything the first 30 days because I counted that as a month, even though 31 days is, there are 31 days in January. So, and I don't know if it's a psychological thing or whatever, but then when I don't spend, I feel like, oh, well, I didn't spend the first 30 days in 2026, so it's okay to pick up an extra pattern. But I don't think that, I think I'm just going to call it. Because the truth of the matter is I have spent pretty much, we're now into May, and I've spent something on cross stitch for every month. So, yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it. And kudos to all of you who can do the no spend for a year or 6 months or whatever your time frame is. But it's not something that is, I don't know. It's just not something that it makes me feel guilty on some of it, because it's a goal that I set, and I don't feel like, even with the loose parameters that I have made for myself, and all of this was self-imposed. It wasn't anything that was, and it was supposed to be fun. So, it was fun seeing that I really enjoy supporting small businesses and designers and all of those things. And there are months that I go without spending, but it seems like because I put that goal in place for 2026, I feel like I feel like I'm spending maybe a titch more than I normally would. So, yeah, I'm gonna be good with it. I'm gonna touch on it at the end of the year for my stitchy recap. But yeah, I have a big girl job. I don't have a fixed income or anything like that. And again, it was something that I did just as a challenge, and I'm not doing very good at it. So I'm just gonna let it go and call it good. So I'm going to start going into some of my purchases. Some of these are prior to the retreat. Some of them are definitely from the retreat. This section, if you don't like seeing purchases and things like that, then this is not the section probably for you. So I do want to thank you for stopping by, and thank you for seeing my stitchy progress, and I guess listening to my confession about the first 30 days of 2026. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and go forward. Some of the things that I purchased, these things that I purchased that are coming up are from the retreat, and this is a 46 count Atomic Ranch fabric. It's called Oxygen, and it is a beautiful fabric. So I got that from the retreat. I also purchased other fabrics as well. There was hold please. Okay, some other fabric that I purchased from the retreat. This is Aslan 46 count by Atomic Ranch. A beautiful, beautiful neutral. And a 46 count Blue Ridge by Atomic Ranch. So pretty. I love the modeling on that. I also picked up a 36 count Storm by, it's by Atomic Ranch as well. Oh, cool. This is a 36 count. It's really pretty, really pretty. Then I have Antique Market 36 count by BeStitchMe. Also a very lovely fabric. And I have 36 count Not Your Denim jacket. When I was putting away the fabrics from the last FlossTube for the pairs, I realized that the Not Your Denim jacket was 32 count instead of 36, and I needed a 36 count. Also, just a glorious blue. And that is by BeStitchMe as well. My next fabrics I purchased from Red Thicket. I am part of her Fabric of the Month Club, and I will go over those fabrics here in a second, but these I did purchase from the retreat. And this is a 46 count Haven. Really pretty. This is Sandstone, 46 count. A delicious neutral. And I took I'm going to do a new start. I'm going to start it later this afternoon. But the Pledge of Allegiance by Plum Street Samplers, there is no over one on this, and it calls for Eucalyptus by Fox and Rabbit. And I wanted mine a little bit smaller. I either wanted it on, you know, a 46 count or a 40 count linen or Ada. But this is the pattern. And I did have a 36 count Eucalyptus in my stash, but again, I wanted the finish to be slightly smaller than the 36 count. I do have the threads pulled, but this is what that looks like. And then I picked up a 46 count Dilly Dilly from Red Thicket, and then a 20 count Ada by Red Thicket. And I think I'm gonna go with the 20 count Ada. I mean, it's definitely not an exact match, but I am going to stitch that on the 20 count Dilly Dilly by Red Thicket. Pattern wise, I picked up a few more patterns because they were right there. Why not? I picked up the Nativity Tiny Town and also the 2 frills that go with it. So the Nativity Tiny Town and the Wise Men and the Shepherd frills. I thought there was only one, but then when I looked on the online store, there was that second one for the shepherds for the frill. I also picked up Acorn Thieves by Quoint Rose Needle Arts. I don't know why I can never say Quoint. I also have One Spring Day by With Thy Needle and Thread. Very cool bunny. This is a really fun one, a Toile Flag. Quoint Rose Needle Arts again. This Land by Shakespeare's Peddler. Winter Trio by With Thy Needle and Thread. Super fun. Snowman in the Forest. I just noticed the title of that. So Snowman in the Forest with Thy Needle and Thread. It's really cute. And then I have the other 2 seasons for the alphabets that Jeanette Douglas is doing. So this is the spring alphabet. So be aware when you purchase this, if you purchase the spring, you have to purchase the other 3 seasons. All 4 seasons don't come in one pattern or one book or what have you. So I ordered that. I also got the winter, which is this one right here, and I have the other 2 purchased previously from last year. And then I ordered my Garden Biscorno by Teresa Kogut. So I'm gonna start going over some of the gifts that I received at the retreat. So the attendees received the silk pack. It was very generously given by Jen at the Cross Stitch Emporium, and the sampler, the threads actually go with this particular pattern by the Proper Stitcher. It's called the English Rose Sampler. And then these were the threads that everybody received at the retreat. It's really beautiful. I purchased a needle keep by Front Porch Peddler Company. She makes some other great things too, but it allows you to keep your needles. It's all magnetic. That was just a little charm that came in there. It fell to the floor. So there's that. Purchased that. Trying to think what else I have going on here. Retreat Rise. I received several little gifts. I got a really cool display stand. Everyone either got a dough bowl or something like this. I'm going to be painting and distressing mine. I already have ideas for that particular piece. I'll go over, I guess, the gifts that I previously showed my full finish, and then that was the retreat gift that I gave. I'll put in a couple of pictures if I can here. To show you Leslie, who received the gift. They also had a project bag exchange, and this year I decided to make my project bag, so I made one for the recipient, I made one for myself. So there's that. And then the one that I received, thank you, Miss Patty. It's from, I think, Flower Power by Maureen McCormick. I think this is the fabric line that this goes with. So beautiful bag. Thank you so much. And I was also lucky enough with my small, I received Stitch Every Day. This is also from Miss Patty. And I love this. It's gonna go in my stitchy room. It's really cool. Trying to think. I think that about covers. I had a few more purchases, you know, for my good behavior for the first 30 days of 2026. I'm not spending. So I purchased a 46 count cream from Red Thicket. Very beautiful neutral. I'm really getting into 46 count stitching. I started the Santa stocking, the Midnight Santa stocking by Teresa Kogut on 46 count and really enjoyed it. So I'm kind of beefing up my stash on the 46 count. I've kind of been on a project bag kick. So I picked up some fabric to make some Patriotic project bags. So this is one combination that I'll be doing. And then another Patriotic bag. Will be a second combination that I'm going to be when I went to my friend's house, Pam. She had, you know, you kind of look through your friend's patterns. She looks through your patterns, that kind of thing. And she had some of the Prairie Schooler Santas. She didn't have all of them. And after looking at her patterns, I thought that I needed all of the Prairie Schooler Santas because I wanted to do them all. The Prairie Schooler first published the Santa, I think it was back in 1984. And when I went searching for the patterns, I hadn't realized that she actually re-released the patterns. She put them in booklets. Well, they're not really booklets, they're paper patterns now. They used to be cardboard, but they're now paper. She does do the individual patterns. Like, for example, this is from 2026. So this is 2026 Santa. But some of her previous release Santas, she's put into trios. And I got mine from 123 Stitch. And so I wasn't aware of that. So if anybody who's looking for Prairie Schooler Santas, some of the older ones, if you're missing a year or something like that, or want to purchase all of them to do, they are all available at 123 Stitch. So I just wanted to let anybody know that. But I'll just pull out a few. But I did purchase the entire set. Again, because of my good behavior of no spending for the first 30 days in 2026. And also I was influenced by, after seeing Pam's Prairie Schoolers. I'm getting surrounded by project bags and patterns here. And I'll show probably just a couple single patterns. Now, not all of the patterns are in the booklets. Like the last few years are not released together like that, but you can still get them individually. And those are just a couple that I have. But again, that was on 123 Stitch. And if you are so inclined and don't have all of the patterns from 1984 and would like them, they are all available on 123 Stitch. That's where I found those. Trying to think of anything else. Oh, my Fabric of the Month Club. This is No Boom Boo it's by Red Thicket, and it's a 20 count Ada. This is her regular club. Sorry for the crinkle. I should have had these out. Beautiful, beautiful blue. That's the 20 count Ada. And then I joined the 46 count Neutral Club. And this is called Runestone Dust. Again, this is 46 count linen. Just really pretty. And I purchased a quilt kit. I went to a fabric shop because I was shopping for all things fabric. And this is called Silver Shores quilt kit. And I just love the bluey green. It was so pretty, so pretty. And this was also purchased because I did such a great job not spending any money on cross stitch the first 30 days of 2026. No, in all seriousness, I purchased that because I just thought the colors were delicious, and yeah, I think it was just a beautiful, beautiful kit. I think that about covers it. I'm going to be working. I'm going to do a few more starts this afternoon when I get done with this FlossTube. I wanted to get on here and get this uploaded and done. I think I'm going to start the Pledge of Allegiance. There's a couple of other kits that I had kitted up, but I didn't quite start when I was at the retreat, and I would like to get started on those. And I want to get back to the Quaker hearts. That stitch is calling me. I think it's turning out beautiful. I love the fact that it's on the 46 count linen, and it's just, I don't know, it's turning out very sweet and very petite, and I just love it. Just a recap on the goals. I didn't quite really do the 4 months of no spend for 2026. I know it's only May, but the truth of the matter is, even though I didn't spend anything on cross stitch for the first 30 days, yeah, I feel like because I use that excuse, or I'm like, oh, I didn't spend this month, which I mean doesn't really apply to me, but yeah, I mean, I really love cross stitch. It's my hobby. I just love it, and yeah, it's just not a goal that I was, yeah, I don't know what else to say other than I didn't do a very good job of not spending, I guess. But again, it was all self-imposed. It was all in fun, and you know, yeah, it's, yeah, you just get to know yourself a little bit better when you do some of these challenges. And at this point in my life, the no spend is not really my jam. So I don't know of anything else. There are a couple other retreats that I will be attending in the future, in the next few months. So I'll be working on some smalls for that. I will, of course, show those after the retreat. And I think that about covers everything. My plans are, I'm going to start the Pledge of Allegiance pattern after this YouTube. There are a couple other kitted patterns that I took to the retreat but was not able to start, and I think I might start those as well. So I have 3 more starts probably this afternoon. Not this afternoon, sometime this coming month. I have no specific plans for Mania. I'm just gonna stitch what I want. If I want, you know, work on a whip or start a new project. So I have no specific plans for Mania other than I did that start at the retreat with my friend Pam. We started Quaker Hearts on May 1st. And actually that is kind of calling me because I think it is just the sweetest pattern, and I love how it's turning out on that 46 count fabric that I chose. I think it's gonna look really amazing. Everyone has a fantastic May. Summer is upon us. We really had a dry winter here in Wyoming, so things are still really crispy around here. Fire warnings are out and about, but I think that'll about do it. So I hope everyone has a great May. Happy stitching, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.